Hi everybody, welcome again to another share. Today I'm going to be talking about how do you identify whether or not your whole fish purchase at the supermarket or within space, supermarket, shop, wherever. How do you know that it is freshly caught? How do you know that it is not stale? Alright, so I am going to be taking out a few of my fish from out of this one, and I am going to be sharing with you a comparative between fish that are fresh versus fish that have been on the shelf for a bit. Okay, so here we go. Okay, freshly caught fish. Um, whenever you actually, let's start from the beginning. Whenever you actually go into the shop, supermarket, store, freezer, wherever, you can easily identify whether or not the fish is fresh. One of the mark ways in which you can actually identify that the fish is fresh is that the eyes of the fish looks very bright. If the eyes of the fish look bright, you know that the fish is fresh. It is fresh, right? If it look pale, have a glassy color like whitish, you know that that fish have been on ice for a while. Another way in which you can identify that your whole fish is fresh, right, is when you're actually cooking it. Now, when you're cooking the fish, right, if the fish lays flat in the frying pan and it does not like skin up, or should I say, it forms a C, like as if it's bending. It cannot be laid out flat into the pot. You know that that fish have been on ice for a bit. Another way in which you can identify that your fish is roughly like, or I would say it is still, it has been on ice for a bit, is when you're frying it and you realize that the whether or not you place it in hot, very hot oil, you realize that the sides of the fish, right, it is as if it's lifting apart. So it's like the fish is like cracking up at the sides, right? You know that that fish have been on ice for a bit. Now, you might be saying, why is this necessary? Because consuming fresh fish is the healthiest way to consume fish, right? You don't want to consume fish that have been on ice for a very long time. It will make you sick, right? I remember once I went to the seaside to purchase some fish, and someone sold me fish, and I did not look in the bag because it was on such a deal, great deal. And when I came home and I opened the bag was actually stink. Now this is the outright way in which you can actually identify that your fish is, in Jamaican term, a touch. Now, you all know that fish and fish meat kind is kept on ice, right? No, because it's kept on ice, the smell is actually tapered down with the ice. So sometimes you might purchase a fish, it's on ice, you don't know that it is not fresh. And what happened is that when you go home and you pull the bag, you realize that the fish is smelling a little way, like it smells stink. Better yet, the skin of the fish is very soft. This is also an indicator that your fish that you purchase at the store is not all that fresh. Now I'm gonna be preparing this fish, well, a few fish for for food. Package out of the five fish that I actually took out of the pond, I packaged three, placed in the freezer, and I'm gonna be cooking these two, for my dinner today. Uh, yeah, pot is getting hot, and we shall see what we shall see. All right. Notice the eyes of the fish looks bright, right? It's not white, right? It's clear. I just caught these this morning, right? Right? Woo! Right? I just caught these this morning. Notice the fish is not like curving in the pot, right? Indicating that it is fresh. And notice that I'm not running from the kitchen because the smell of the fish is not what I call it, a smell of rotten flesh. Right? So the fish itself smells nice. Mention, notice at the side of the fish, everything is intact. There's no crack at the sides, right? The sides are there, right? There's no like all of this lifting up. That's a sign that the fish is old or stale, right? So the fish is there, it's been simmering down in water and some other sauce, and this is it. Alright, it's not really a cooking show, but I'm just sharing with you, tips that you should pay attention to, which kind of highlight as to whether or not the fish that you are consuming is an old fish that have been on ice for a while, and in some cases might not be edible. Right? Yeah, fresh fish. Aye. Peace out, guys.